From my earliest moments of awareness, a question echoed in the silent chambers of my mind, a ghost that haunted my childhood dreams. What is time? And what is the true, hidden nature of space? We are born into a world that hands us a simple story. It tells us that time is an arrow, flying straight and true. It is a universal river, carrying everyone and everything along at the same steady pace. But I could not shake the feeling, a deep, instinctual rebellion in my soul, that this story was a comforting lie. I suspected that the grand stage of reality, with its actors of space and time, was infinitely more bizarre and wonderful than we dared to imagine. This relentless curiosity became my compass, pulling me toward the fundamental mysteries of existence. I embarked on a pilgrimage not of the feet, but of the mind, seeking to understand the very threads from which our reality is woven. My guide on this journey was a single, stubborn fact: the speed of light. It is the universe's one constant, a cosmic speed limit that nothing can break. But I came to see it as something more. It is not just a number. It is the ultimate arbiter of reality, and from this one unwavering law, the most extraordinary consequences unfold. Through years of wrestling with observation, relentless reasoning, and the pure language of mathematics, a staggering truth revealed itself. If you were to chase a beam of light, to travel at velocities approaching that ultimate speed, the universe would reward you with a strange and beautiful gift. Time itself would begin to bend for you. For every year that passed in your near-light speed vessel, decades, even centuries, could unfurl for those you left behind. I gave this phenomenon a name: time dilation. It sounds like sorcery, a trick of a madman, yet it is as real and as fundamental as the rising of the sun. It is the universe's secret whisper, telling us that the steady march of the clock is nothing but a shared illusion. As this first revelation settled, it opened the door to an even more profound discovery. I had been treating space and time as separate players on the stage, but the deeper I looked, the more I saw they were inseparable dance partners. They are not two different things, but a single, unified, four-dimensional fabric that I called space-time. Imagine it as a vast, cosmic trampoline. In an empty universe, it is flat and taut. But place a massive object upon it, a star, a planet, and the fabric curves, it dips, it warps. This, I realized, is gravity. The force that we believed was a mysterious tether, a rope pulling objects toward one another, is nothing of the sort. Gravity is the shape of reality itself. Planets do not orbit the sun because they are being pulled. They are following the curved pathways carved into the fabric of space-time by the sun's immense mass, like marbles circling a vortex in the cosmic sheet. To understand this is to see the universe with new eyes. What we call down is merely the direction of the steepest curve in space-time beneath our feet. An apple falling from a tree is not being pulled. It is simply rolling along the most straightforward path available to it through this warped geometry. Now imagine traveling near an object of truly immense gravity, like a colossal star or a neutron star. There, the fabric of space-time is so violently distorted that both space and time would become a funhouse mirror. Clocks would tick at a crawl, and a straight path would become a bewildering spiral. It was this line of thought, this terrifying and exhilarating logic, that led directly to the theoretical precipice of black holes, celestial whirlpools, where space-time is so warped that it tears a hole in the universe, a point of infinite density where time itself comes to a halt. These revelations cemented a new philosophy in my heart. Reality, I concluded, is a deeply personal affair. There is no single objective now that spans the cosmos. Your now and my now can be different, stretched and compressed by our speed and the gravity we experience. This was more than science. It was a revolution in thought, a dismantling of centuries of certainty. And amidst this sea of relativity, I found one more pearl of absolute truth, an equation so simple, yet so powerful. It felt like uncovering one of God's own blueprints. E equal to mc2. Mass and energy are not different things. They are two faces of the same coin. This is the secret fire of the stars and the engine of the universe. It whispers that even the smallest speck of dust, a single grain of sand, holds within it a sleeping volcano of energy so vast it defies comprehension. This was the final piece of the puzzle. For me, these discoveries were never merely about formulas, they were acts of imagination, guided by the strict and beautiful rules of logic. They showed me that the universe is far stranger, more magical, and more magnificent than our senses report. It is a dynamic, shimmering tapestry, constantly being woven and rewoven. My work on relativity was my attempt to hear its hidden rhythm, to show that time can dance, that space can bend, and that our own minds, through pure, unadulterated thought, can touch the very structure of existence. The journey that began with a child's simple question had led me to the edge of human understanding, and all I could do was stand in awe, inviting others to look and wonder with me. The ink on my equations was barely dry, yet my mind had already leaped beyond them, racing into the cold, silent expanse of the cosmos. The principles of relativity were not merely mathematical proofs to me, they were the keys to a locked room, and I was consumed by the need to see what lay on the other side. My imagination ignited, seized by visions of a vessel, a lone human spirit encased in steel and fire, accelerating on a chase to outrun light itself. In this mind-forged journey, as the ship clawed its way toward that ultimate cosmic speed, a divine quiet would descend upon the traveler. Their heart would beat in its steady rhythm, their clock would tick with familiar grace, but outside their window, the universe would begin to sing a different song. Time, the relentless master we all serve, would begin to bow. For every day spent in that vessel, a year might flicker by on earth. For every month, a decade. A single year of their journey could purchase a century of Earth's future. The implications crashed down upon me not as a theory, but as a chilling, electrifying prophecy. A person could literally sail into the future. They would become a ghost ship sailing into the harbor of a tomorrow they could witness but never truly belong to. I saw this traveler returning, their body and mind having aged a mere handful of years, only to find an Earth transformed beyond recognition. The world they left behind would be a ghost, a memory preserved only in their mind. The price of witnessing the future, I realized, was the absolute forfeiture of your own present. It is a vision both magnificent and terrifying to become a living relic, a time capsule of flesh and blood, walking among the descendants of people you once called neighbors. Time was not an arrow. It was a current in a vast ocean with eddies, rapids, and deep, slow pulls, all dictated by the twin forces of motion and gravity. And it was gravity that held the most profound secrets. I came to see that colossal objects, the burning hearts of stars, the silent voids of black holes, were not just masters of space, but tyrants of time. They do not simply pull on objects, they bleed the momentum from time itself. I pictured a daredevil explorer parking their ship at the precipice of a black hole's event horizon, the point of no return. There, at the universe's most extreme edge, time would be stretched to a near standstill. They could dangle their feet in the river of eternity. A single beat of their heart could correspond to the birth and death of a star in the distant cosmos. Hours spent in that gravitational well could be 10,000 years for the rest of the universe. Time travel into the future wasn't a fantasy, it was a fundamental, unavoidable feature of the cosmic architecture I had uncovered. From there, my thoughts took an even wilder leap. If space-time could be bent and stretched so violently, could it not also be torn and folded? This gave rise to the theoretical specter of the wormhole, the universe's secret passages. The mathematics, in its purest form, did not forbid it. Under conditions of almost unimaginable energy, one could theoretically stitch two distant points in space-time together, creating a bridge. A step through such a gateway could transport you across a galaxy in an instant. And this thought sent shivers down my spine, it could connect you to another time. This was the ultimate cosmic gamble, a doorway that could lead to the dawn of history or the end of all things. The energy required felt godlike, the stability of such a bridge a phantom, yet the very possibility that the universe contained these back alleys was a revelation that turned physics into sheer, unadulterated poetry. As these ideas solidified, I understood that I had not just challenged physics, I had laid siege to our most basic understanding of what it means to be. The solid ground of a shared universal now had crumbled beneath my feet. If every observer carries their own clock, their own personal flow of time, then the universe is not a single linear story. It is an infinite library of overlapping narratives, each one true from its own perspective. Past, present, and future were no longer fixed points on a map, but shimmering, fluid landscapes. This was profoundly disorienting, yet unbelievably liberating. It meant that history was not a static monument of stone, but a flowing tapestry whose threads could be viewed from infinite angles. In my quietest moments of reflection, I would let this vision consume me. I would see the time traveler, not as a scientist, but as an artist of motion. Suspended in their vessel, they would watch the firmament dissolve into a kaleidoscope of colors, the stars smearing into brilliant streaks of divine paint on a black canvas. They would be the ultimate witness, a solitary observer to the grand, unfolding epic of the cosmos, their own lifetime a mere footnote in the eons they traverse. My work then was not an answer, but an invitation. It was an invitation to rebel against the tyranny of common sense, to embrace the magnificent absurdity of reality. The universe I had glimpsed was a place not of rigid rules, but of profound and elegant flexibility. It is alive with a potential that dwarfs our mundane experience. And so, while humanity may not yet have the means to build these vessels or traverse these cosmic bridges, the knowledge alone is a form of liberation. It proves that the human mind, armed with nothing but curiosity and guided by the light of reason, can pull back the curtain on existence and stare into its incandescent heart. The cosmos no longer felt like a silent, indifferent machine. It felt like it was whispering a single, tantalizing promise to those who would listen. What can be imagined can somewhere, somehow, be real.